Dominique Dunne was a talented actress whose life was tragically cut short. Best known for her role as Dana Freeling in the iconic horror film Poltergeist, her life would come to a tragic end shortly after the film's release. Dominique Dunne tragically lost her life on November 4th, 1982, at just 22 years old. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of domestic violence. Dominique was strangled by her ex-boyfriend, John Sweeney, in an act that shocked not only her family and friends, but the entire country. What's particularly frustrating about Dominique's case is the aftermath. Sweeney was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and served only 3.5 years in prison. Famous soap opera actor Jefferson Machado, known for his starring role in Race, a popular Brazilian TV series, had his life tragically ended in the worst way. After being missing for 5 long months and presumed murdered, the police investigation into his disappearance was relentless, and in May 2023, the search came to a grim conclusion when 44-year-old Jeff Machado was discovered in the Campo Grande neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro. The details were chilling. He was found buried inside a trunk, 2 meters deep and encased in a thick layer of concrete. Jannie Pote is a name that might not ring a bell for everyone, but if you're into doo-wop and girl groups, she's a significant figure worth knowing. As one of the original members of the Bobettes, Jannie helped shape the sound of 1950s music with their infectious harmonies and catchy tunes. Death by stranger. Jannie Pote's life took a tragic turn in 1980 when she was fatally stabbed by a complete stranger in New Jersey. Sadly, she was gone at the age of 34. Marie Trintignant, a remarkable French film and stage actress, she graced the silver screen in over 30 movies, captivating audiences with her talent and charisma. On the 26th of July, while in a hotel room, her rock star boyfriend, Bertrand Cantat, flew into a jealous rage during an argument over a text message sent to Trintignant by her husband, from whom she was separated. Cantat proceeded to severely beat Trintignant. She died from swelling of the brain at the age of 41 on August 1st, 2003. Her rock star boyfriend would only serve 4 years in prison before being released. Bobby Fuller was a name that echoed through the rock and roll scene of the 1960s, known for his catchy tunes and vibrant energy. Born in 1942, he captured hearts with his band, the Bobby Fuller Four. Their hit, I Fought the Law, became an anthem of rebellion and youthful defiance, showcasing Fuller's knack for blending rockabilly with a pop sensibility. Bobby Fuller died tragically on July 18, 1966, at the age of 23. The official explanation was that Fuller died from inhaling gasoline fumes. However, his family and friends have long suspected foul play, believing he was murdered. The mystery surrounding Bobby Fuller's death continues to intrigue and fascinate to this day. Ramon Navarro was a true trailblazer in the world of cinema, and his story is as fascinating as his performances. Born in 1899 in Durango, Mexico, he made a name for himself as one of the first Latin American stars in Hollywood during the silent film era. Navarro captivated audiences with films like Ben-Hur and The Student Prince. Ramon Navarro was tragically murdered on October 30th, 1968, at the age of 69. 2 young men brutally beat and tortured Navarro, demanding money they believed he had hidden. Navarro died from his injuries, asphyxiating on his own blood. 2 brothers were arrested and convicted of his murder. Stephanie Mosley, a talented actress, was born on February 14, 1984, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. She made a name for herself in Hollywood through her notable roles in films such as The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 1, 2011, Idlewild, 2006, and Mirror Mirror, 2012. In a tragic incident of domestic violence that turned fatal, Stephanie Mosley was murdered by her husband Earl Hayes on December 8, 2014. Hayes killed his wife and then took his own life after discovering that Mosley had been cheating on him. LA police found both of them shot to death in their apartment, Mosley in the bathtub and Hayes in the bedroom. Sharon Tate was a talented actress and model during the 1960s. Starting with small television roles, she quickly caught the attention of audiences. Her undeniable beauty and charm led her to become a sought-after model and actress. Gracing the covers of numerous fashion magazines and movie roles, Tate was hailed as one of Hollywood's most promising newcomers. On August 8, 1969, Tate would have dinner at El Coyote Cafe with Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, and Abigail Folger, returning at about 10:30 p.m. Shortly after midnight, Tate, Sebring, Frykowski, and Folger were murdered by members of the Manson family cult. She was 8 months pregnant at the time. José Duane Ricardo Onfroy, known professionally as XXXTentacion and commonly referred to as simply X, was an American rapper, singer, and songwriter. On June 18, 2018, upon leaving Riva Motorsports Motorcycle and Marine Superstore in Deerfield Beach, Florida, he was blocked from exiting the parking lot by a black Dodge Journey SUV. Two armed men exited the SUV and approached the rapper while he was sitting in the driver's seat. A brief struggle occurred and the gun-toting men reached inside Onfroy's vehicle, stole a small Louis Vuitton bag containing $50,000, and shot the rapper multiple times. Roger Troutman was an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and the founder of the band Zapp, who helped spearhead the funk movement. His music was used in the movies Venom 2018, Iron Man 2 2010, and Pixels 2015. On the morning of April 25, 1999, Troutman was found shot and critically wounded outside his Northwest Dayton recording studio around 7 a.m. According to doctors, the 47-year-old had been shot several times in the torso. Troutman died during surgery at the Good Samaritan Hospital and Health Center. Roger's brother Larry was found dead in a car a few blocks away with a single self-inflicted gunshot wound. The car matched the description of a vehicle leaving the scene of Roger Troutman's shooting, according to witnesses, which means Roger was murdered by his brother. Jennifer Helene Maxwell was an American film and television actress, probably best remembered for starring alongside Elvis Presley in the 1961 film Blue Hawaii. In the afternoon of June 10, 1981, shortly after her separation from Irvin Roeder, a successful attorney, Maxwell and Roeder were shot and killed in the lobby of Maxwell's Beverly Hills condo. She was 39 years old. The shooting was believed to be a botched hit on Maxwell, orchestrated by Roeder over pending divorce finances. Roeder, a defense attorney with reputed mafia connections, had allegedly arranged to receive a survivable wound from the hitman as a diversion. But in the event, the wound to his abdomen proved fatal, and he died a few hours after the shooting. Eddie Hassel was born on July 16, 1990, in Corsicana, Texas, USA. He is known for The Kids Are All Right, 2010, Surface, 2005, and the 2013 film Jobs, where he played the young Chris Espinosa. Hassel was shot dead during a carjacking after leaving his girlfriend's house on November 1, 2020, around 1:50 a.m. in Grand Prairie, Texas, in what police describe as a random robbery. He was 30 years old. Police arrested an 18-year-old man within days of the incident and charged him with murder. Karen Kupcinet was a stage, film, and television personality known for The Little Shop of Horrors, 1960, The Gertrude Berg Show, 1961, and G.E. True, 1962, and was also the daughter of Chicago newspaper columnist Irv Kupcinet. Kupcinet was strangled to death in her apartment by an unknown assailant on November 28, 1963. She was only 22 years old. David Huffman, an immensely talented American leading and supporting actor on film and television in the 1970s and 80s, had his life cut tragically short. On February 27, 1985, tragedy struck when David Huffman lost his life at the age of 39. He was involved in a fatal altercation with a 16-year-old at a San Diego park that ended in him being stabbed to death with a screwdriver. Dick Kallman, A prominent actor in movies and television during the late 50s and 60s, made a significant career shift by leaving Hollywood to pursue stage work, touring with renowned productions such as How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying and Half a Sixpence. Kallman was murdered by three intruders in 1980 during a robbery at his residence. The killers were later caught and convicted. A fictionalized account of Kallman's life, Up with the Sun by Thomas Mallon, was published in February 2023. Sam Cooke, the legendary American singer and songwriter, many consider to be one of the most influential soul artists of all time. He's often hailed as the King of Soul for his distinctive vocals. The murder of Sam Cooke on December 11, 1964, sent shockwaves through the music industry. The tragic incident took place at the Hacienda Motel, located at 91st and South Figueroa Streets in South Central Los Angeles. Responding to reports of a shooting and a kidnapping at the motel, police discovered Cooke's lifeless body. It was determined that he had suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the chest. The motel's manager, Bertha Franklin, said she shot him in self-defense. Her account was immediately called into question by Cooke's acquaintances. Tara Correa McMullen was an American actress, known for her captivating portrayal of Graciela Reyes, a gang member, on the popular CBS TV series Judging Amy. In early 2005, 16-year-old Correa McMullen moved into her own apartment in Inglewood, California, and as art imitated life, she began dating a gang member 10 years her senior. On the evening of October 21, 2005, she was shot to death by gang member Damian Watts. Bob Crane was best known for starring in the CBS hit comedy series Hogan's Heroes, but he also hosted the #1 rated morning radio show in the early 1960s before landing the lead role of Colonel Robert Hogan in Hogan's Heroes. The series aired from 1965 to 1971. In June 1978, Crane was living in the Winfield Place Apartments in Scottsdale, Arizona during a run of Beginner's Luck at the Windmill Dinner Theater. On the afternoon of June 29th, his co-star Victoria Ann Barry entered his apartment after he failed to show up for a lunch meeting and discovered his body. Crane had been bludgeoned to death with a weapon that was never identified, though investigators believed it to be a camera tripod. A former friend, John Henry Carpenter, was charged with his murder but was acquitted. Selena Quintanilla Perez, known simply as Selena, was an extraordinary American Tejano singer. Often hailed as the Queen of Tejano music, Selena's talent and captivating performances catapulted her to become one of the most celebrated Mexican-American entertainers of the late 20th century. On March 31, 1995, 23-year-old Selena met with Yolanda Saldivar, her fan club president and manager of her boutique stores, to confront her about embezzling money. They met at the Days Inn in Corpus Christi. Once confronted, Saldivar got a gun from her purse and pointed it at Selena. As Selena attempted to flee, Saldivar shot her. Critically wounded, Selena ran towards the lobby. She collapsed on the floor as the clerk called an ambulance and police. Before collapsing, Selena named Saldivar as her assailant. She was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. William Desmond Taylor was a fascinating figure in early Hollywood, and his life story is as captivating as any film plot. Born in 1872 in Ireland, he made his way to America and eventually became a prominent director during the silent film era. Taylor was known for his charm and talent, directing many successful films that helped shape the industry. William Desmond Taylor was found dead in his Los Angeles home on February 1st, 1922. He had been shot in the back. The murder investigation was extensive but ultimately inconclusive. Several theories and suspects were considered, including Taylor's secretary, his cook, and two young actresses. However, no one was ever charged with the crime, and it remains unsolved. Lana Clarkson was a talented actress and model whose life took several unexpected turns. Best known for her roles in cult classics like Barbarian Queen, she had a striking presence that made her a memorable figure in the film industry during the 1980s. Lana Clarkson, a promising actress, was tragically murdered on February 3, 2003, at the age of 40. She was found dead in the home of music producer Phil Spector. Spector was convicted of second-degree murder in 2009 and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. He died in prison in 2021. Merlin Santana. Beginning his career in the early 1990s, Santana was best known for his roles as Rudy Huxtable's boyfriend Stanley on The Cosby Show, Marcus Dixon on Getting By, Marcus Henry in Under One Roof, and Romeo Santana on the WB sitcom The Steve Harvey Show. On November 9, 2002, Santana was murdered while sitting in a car in Los Angeles. Santana and his friend, actor Brandon Adams, had just left an acquaintance's home in the Crenshaw district when Damian Andre Gates, 19 at the time, fired the shot that ended Santana's life. Jay Sebring, a prominent figure in the world of hairstyling, a celebrity hairstylist, and the founder of the iconic hairstyling corporation, Sebring International, had his life cut tragically short when he fell victim to the gruesome acts committed by members of the notorious Manson family. On August 8, 1969, Sebring, Tate, and two others went to a Mexican restaurant together. After they returned to Sharon Tate's home on Cielo Drive, Patricia Krenwinkel, Susan Atkins, and Charles Tex Watson, members of the Manson family, entered the home and murdered Jay Sebring, Sharon Tate, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, Polish writer Wojciech Frykowski, and Stephen Parent, a friend of the property's caretaker. Tupac Shakur, known by his stage names Tupac and Machiavelli, was widely regarded as one of the most influential and successful rappers of all time, having sold more than 75 million records worldwide. On the night of September 7, 1996, Shakur was in Las Vegas, Nevada to attend the Mike Tyson boxing match. After the fight at about 11:15 p.m. at a stoplight, a white four-door late-model Cadillac sedan pulled up to the passenger side and an occupant rapidly fired into the car. Shakur was struck 4 times. He was taken to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, where he was heavily sedated and put on life support. In the intensive care unit on the afternoon of September 13, 1996, Shakur died from internal bleeding. The rumor circulating is that Sean Combs, better known these days as Freak Diddy, may have played a role in this chilling murder. Christopher George LaTorre Wallace, better known by his stage names Biggie Smalls or simply Biggie, was an iconic figure in the world of American rap. His raw and authentic style captivated audiences worldwide and earned him a place among the greatest rappers of all time. On March 8, 1997, Wallace attended a Soul Train Awards after-party hosted by Vibe and Quest Records at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Guests included movie stars, rock stars, and members of the Bloods and Crips gang. Later that night, at 12:30 a.m., after the fire department closed the party early due to overcrowding, Wallace left with his entourage in 2 GMC Suburbans to return to his hotel. A black Chevy Impala pulled up alongside him. The Impala's driver rolled down his window, drew a pistol, and fired at Wallace's car. 4 bullets hit Wallace, and his entourage subsequently rushed him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where doctors performed emergency surgery, but he was pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. He was 24 years old. Dorothy Stratton's life was both glorious and tragic. She rose to fame in the late 1970s as a Playboy playmate and then embarked on an acting career, appearing in films such as Galaxina and They All Laughed. But Stratton's life and promising career were tragically cut short when she was murdered. Dorothy Stratton was murdered by her estranged husband and manager Paul Snyder on August 14, 1980 at the age of 20, after they met to discuss divorce proceedings. Her death inspired 2 movies, a book, and several songs. The 1981 TV movie Death of a Centerfold, The Dorothy Stratton Story, the 1983 movie Star 80, the book The Killing of the Unicorn, and the songs Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Best Was Yet to Come by Bryan Adams, and Covergirl by Prism. Salvatore Mineo Jr. was best known for his role as John Plato Crawford in the drama film Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, which earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor at the age of 17. Mineo also starred in films such as Crime in the Streets, Giant, both 1956 and Exodus 1960, for which he won a Golden Globe. On the night of February 12, 1976, Mineo returned home from a rehearsal for the play P.S. Your Cat is Dead. After parking his car in the carport, he was stabbed in the heart by Lionel Ray Williams, a young pizza delivery man who thought he might have money and wanted to rob him. Mineo was 37 years old. Williams was convicted and sentenced in March 1979 to 57 years in prison for killing Mineo. Adrienne Shelly was an American actress, film director, and screenwriter. She became known for roles in films such as Hal Hartley's The Unbelievable Truth, 1989, and Trust, 1990. She wrote, co-starred in, and directed the 2007 posthumously released film Waitress, which later became a hit Broadway show. Adrienne Shelly was murdered on November 1, 2006 by Diego Pilco, a 19-year-old construction worker from Ecuador who entered her apartment when the door was left ajar and tried to steal her purse. He was arrested on November 6th and would be sentenced to life in prison. Gianni Versace, the renowned Italian fashion designer and the founder of Versace, an internationally acclaimed luxury fashion house. His name has become synonymous with luxury and style. On the morning of July 15, 1997, Versace took a walk on Ocean Drive to retrieve his morning magazines. Versace had returned and was climbing the steps of his Miami Beach mansion when a man in shorts, a t-shirt, and carrying a backpack approached and shot him at point-blank range. He was pronounced dead at Jackson Memorial Hospital at 9:21 a.m. He was 50 years old at the time of his death. Marvin Gaye is one of those legendary figures in music whose influence and talent are simply undeniable. Known as the Prince of Soul, he brought a unique blend of smooth vocals and heartfelt lyrics that resonated deeply with audiences. From his early Motown hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough to the socially conscious themes in albums like What's Going On, Gaye's music has a timeless quality that still feels relevant today. Marvin Gaye, a legendary soul singer, was tragically killed by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., on April 1, 1984. The shooting occurred at their family home in Los Angeles following an argument. Marvin Gaye Sr. was later convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Ronnie Sue Chasen was a Hollywood heavyweight, once representing such actors as Michael Douglas, as well as musicians such as Hans Zimmer and Mark Isham. Chasen also directed the Academy Award campaigns for more than 100 films during her career, including Driving Miss Daisy in 1989 and The Hurt Locker in 2009. Chasen was shot in a drive-by shooting in Beverly Hills on November 16, 2010, at approximately 12:28 a.m., as she was driving home from the Hollywood premiere of the film Burlesque. Jing Bai was an actress from China. She was best known for her roles in Kung Fu Wing Chun 2010, Ti Ren 2009, and Three Kingdoms 2008. She was married to Chung Hai-jo, a Chinese billionaire. On the 28th of February 2012, Bai Jing met with her husband in their apartment in Chaoyang regarding their divorce proceedings. However, he stabbed her 3 times and Bai Jing died on the spot. He took his own life shortly afterwards. Christy Schoenkod was a Spanish-born chef who came to prominence as a contestant in the 8th season of the Food Network series Food Network Star. She started a successful movie catering business and was known as the Hollywood chef to the stars. Christy and her husband Joseph were reported missing on March 15, 2015, when their family was unable to reach them. An investigation by police led to the arrest of local contractor and neighbor Robert Jason Owens, who was charged with their murders. Dimebag Darrell was the guitarist of the iconic bands Pantera and Damage Plan, which he co-founded alongside his brother Vinnie Paul. Dimebag's talent and passion for music were truly unmatched. Many consider him to be one of the greatest metal guitarists of all time. On December 8, 2004, Damage Plan was performing at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio. Nathan Gale, a deranged fan, rushed onto the stage as the band played its first song and shot Dimebag multiple times. The band's head of security then tackled the shooter, but was fatally shot in the ensuing struggle. 3 others were wounded before the police officer entered the club and shot the shooter. John Lennon gained worldwide fame as the founder, co-songwriter, co-lead vocalist, and rhythm guitarist of the Beatles. His songwriting partnership with Paul McCartney remains one of the most successful in music history. In New York City, at approximately 5 p.m. on the 8th of December 1980, Lennon autographed a copy of Double Fantasy for Mark David Chapman. He then left for a recording session at the record plant. After the session, Lennon and Ono returned to the Dakota in a limousine at around 10:50 p.m. They left the vehicle and walked through the archway of the building. Chapman then shot Lennon twice in the back and twice in the shoulder at close range. Lennon was rushed in a police cruiser to the emergency room of Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival at 11:15 p.m. Rebecca Schaeffer was a well-known model and actress. She began her career by modeling when she was a teenager and later transitioned into the acting industry. In 1986, she landed the role of Patricia Patty Russell in the CBS comedy My Sister Sam. She was shot and died when she was 21 years old by Robert John Bardo, a 19-year-old crazy fan who had been stalking her. Schaeffer's death helped lead to the passage in California of legislation aimed at preventing stalking. Phil Hartman joined the NBC sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live as a cast member and stayed for 8 seasons until 1994. Nicknamed Glue for his ability to hold the show together and help other cast members, he won a Primetime Emmy Award for his SNL work in 1989. He also starred as Bill McNeil in the sitcom News Radio. On May 27, 1998, Hartman's wife, Bryn, visited the Italian restaurant Buca di Beppo in Encino, California, with producer and writer Christine Zander, who said she was in a good frame of mind. They had drinks. After returning home, Bryn and Hartman had a heated argument, after which he went to bed. She entered his bedroom sometime before 3 o'clock in the morning on May 28, 1998, and as he slept, she fatally shot him. She then took her own life. Lloyd Avery's breakout role was in John Singleton's Oscar-nominated film Boys in the Hood, 1991. In 2001, soon after wrapping his latest movie, Avery was arrested and charged with a double homicide for shooting 2 random people, for which he was sentenced to life in prison. He was murdered on September 4, 2005 in Crescent City, California at the age of 36. He was beaten and strangled by his cellmate at the Pelican Bay State Prison. In 2004, Monica Spear was named Miss Venezuela, and in 2005 she came in 4th place at the Miss Universe pageant. She would go on to become a famous and successful soap opera star. Died on January 6, 2014, at the age of 29. A group of thieves in Venezuela shot her and her ex-husband to death on a road. Their car hit a blunt item that was put in the middle of the road on purpose. When they stopped because of a flat tire, the gang started shooting at them. However, their daughter, who was 5 years old, was shot in the leg, but she survived. Carl Switzer was best known for his role as Alfalfa in the short subject series Our Gang. Switzer began his career as a child actor in the mid-1930s, appearing in the Our Gang series as Alfalfa, one of the series' most popular and best remembered characters. After leaving the series in 1940, Switzer struggled to find substantial roles because of typecasting. As an adult, he appeared mainly in bit parts and B-movies. It was a fateful day when Carl found himself in a distressing situation, losing a friend's beloved canine companion. The friend demanded $50 or his dog back. A fight broke out and Switzer was shot and killed on January 21, 1959. British character actor Peter Arne appeared in over 50 films, including Moonraker, Conspiracy of Hearts, and Victor Victoria. He played villains in multiple Blake Edwards Pink Panther films and had a career that spanned over 40 years. On the 1st of August 1983, neighbors reported hearing a violent argument coming from his home. Arne was later found inside his house, bludgeoned to death with a log from his fireplace. The prime suspect in Arne's murder was a school teacher from Verona, Italy, who was now homeless and living in a local park. Arne had been providing him with food. 4 days later, this man took his own life before police could arrest him. Eva Judith Barcy was an American child actress. She started her career in commercials, TV shows, and the movie Jaws: The Revenge. She voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. A network talent scout found her at a San Fernando Valley skating rink at the age of 5. Her father, who obviously had mental issues, shot her and her mother on July 25, 1988, then shot himself. Susan Cabot was an acclaimed American film, stage, and television actress. Known for her memorable roles in Western films such as Tomahawk, 1951, The Duel at Silver Creek, 1952, and Gunsmoke, 1953, Cabot established herself as a prominent figure in the entertainment industry of the time. On December 10, 1986, Cabot's 22-year-old son bludgeoned her to death in her home in the Encino neighborhood of Los Angeles with a weightlifting bar. He was charged with second-degree murder. A judge convicted her son of not murder but involuntary manslaughter in the 1986 bludgeoning death of his mother. He received only 3 years probation on November 28, 1989, and walked out of court a free man. Daniel Joseph Locken was a remarkable actor and dancer. Locken's most memorable role came in the 1969 film Hello, Dolly, where he portrayed the lovable character of Barnaby Tucker. On the night of August 21, 1977, Locken went to a gay bar in Garden Grove, California. He left the bar with a 34-year-old unemployed medical clerk, Charles Leslie Hopkins. Several hours later, Hopkins called police to say that a man had entered his apartment and tried to rob him. Upon arrival, police found Locken's body on the floor of Hopkins' apartment. He had been stabbed 100 times. Hopkins claimed he had no idea how the body got in his apartment. He was arrested and charged with Locken's murder. Diane Fossey, an American primatologist and conservationist, dedicated her life to the study and protection of mountain gorillas, conducting groundbreaking research in the mountain forests of Rwanda. Gorillas in the Mist was a movie made about her life. In the early morning of December 27, 1985, Fossey was discovered murdered in the bedroom of her cabin located at the far edge of the camp in the Virunga Mountains, Rwanda. It is widely believed that she was killed in connection with her lifelong crusade against poaching. Christina Grimmie was a singer and contestant on Season 6 of The Voice, finishing in 3rd place. Adam Levine, her coach on the show, announced in the finale that, regardless of the results, he would sign her to his label. Lil Wayne also offered to sign her to his label, Young Money Entertainment. She had a very promising career in her future. On June 10, 2016, Grimmie performed at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida. After the show, Grimmie signed autographs inside the venue. At 10:24 p.m., she was approached by 27-year-old Kevin James Loibel without saying a word. Thinking he was too shy to greet her, she opened her arms to give him a hug. Loibel then pulled out a gun and shot her 3 times at point-blank range. Haing S. Nyor was a Cambodian-American actor and physician, best known for his Academy Award-winning performance as Dith Pran in the 1984 film The Killing Fields. Born in Cambodia in 1940, Nyor survived the brutal Khmer Rouge regime, during which he was imprisoned and tortured. He eventually escaped to the United States as a refugee, where his American dream would become a nightmare. On February 25, 1996, Ngor was tragically murdered outside his Los Angeles home. His untimely death came as a shock, believed to be the result of a botched robbery that left friends and fans reeling. In the aftermath, 3 individuals were arrested and convicted.